Hello and welcome to another open source workplace video. Today I'm glad to welcome back John Schultz. John Schultz is a property owner, prop tech investor. John, how are you doing? Thanks for coming back.
I'm doing as well as can be expected. How's that?
That's all we can expect, John. That's all we can expect. So I just want to sort of recap on what we talked about last week. A property owner, we're really concerned about as we move through this pandemic, what that meant for rent payments. Jeff Blau come out this week, Related CEO, talking about who's paying, who's not paying. Obviously they're a big organization with commercial, residential, and retail, and retail is where obviously the ones that are suffering. And I was just curious, from your perspective and on what you're seeing, are you experiencing the same?
Yeah, I mean, so we're almost 10 days in, and rents usually come in the first 10 days based on how your leases are drafted. And
Right.
you know, the last time we discussed, I was like, trust and transparency is what's
Mm-hmm.
going to get us through this, right? And not digging yourself your own little foxhole where it's you against the world, right? Like communicate. We're all in this together. I know like it's fight or flight. The minute you have an issue, you're trying to protect yourself and everything around you so that you can hopefully survive, which is what we all feel right now. It's like the survival instinct. And I've been pleasantly surprised with the communication. We're having a big inflow of rents coming in, and we're having a big inflow of people asking for help. And, you know, when someone's transparent and gains the trust of our relationship as a tenant and an owner, and we can have real discussions to see what we need to do to help and why, we're having really good outcomes. It's the ones that I guess Jeff Blau made issue with, which is
Mm-hmm.
you can't avoid this situation. You can't just say, I'm not going to pay rent because, and then there's no because. There has to be a reason, right? There's a lot of large companies that 3 weeks ago had billions of dollars on their balance sheet, whether they're public or private, where, we all still have reserves for our business moving forward for rainy days. This is a rainy day. This is a storm. And, so I agree with him. I think if you can pay rent, you need to pay rent, right? We're a tenant as well in buildings that we don't own. We're paying rent because we
Mm-hmm.
understand the domino effect of that not happening. But I think this is, something we're all dealing with. Everyone's all hands on deck. We're talking to our tenants. We're actually, re-engaging in relationships with our tenants that, because real estate's pretty much like clockwork once you sign a lease, right? You serve your tenant, all their needs during the year with requests that come to the owner, but you're not having constant conversations with your tenants because everyone's just doing their thing. And we're having a lot more conversations. We're learning about what's happening with their businesses. We're, trying to be and do the most we can to help within what we have control over to help, right? Remember, we have mortgages we have to pay. We have
Mm-hmm.
partners
Mm-hmm.
we have to deal with. We have investors we have to deal with. We have our own little set of dominoes that we have to engage with. So far, we're still in it. And again, like once you get through April, we'll have a much better feel on who's living up to the trust transparency paradigm that I think is just so important.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. So, what is the best way for a tenant to communicate to a landlord on a situation? Is for you yourself, what is the best way? Is that just like a simple phone call,
I think
email,
phone
legal letter?
calls and
Yep,
person-to-person communication right now is paramount. You
yeah.
know, as if from large companies to small companies, within our organizations, we have leasing representatives, asset management representatives, property management representatives, you know, building on-site representation. There, obviously that's going to be difficult now because most people aren't there, but there's lots of ways to reach out to someone within all of our organizations that you can get to the right person or is the right person. So I think we all have to communicate. We've been digital, texting, emailing, trying to be more efficient. I think, human to human communication, I think during this time is very important. I think
Got it.
it's always been, I
Yeah.
actually think that's how the best things happen. So, we've been used to not doing it that way as much, and we're all running around doing lots of things and trying, like I said, to be efficient, but I think that's the right way.
And how have deals been restructured in a sense of, are people extending the terms for a rent-free period today and but adding additional term to their
Yeah, I
current
think
lease
it
or
varies on the tenant, how long their lease is at the time, what they're willing to do. Are they doing well right now because of this? Are they doing like horribly right now because they are what's going on now? So I think it just depends on each conversation. But yes, people are saying, can I have help now, and then I'll pay it back later, or can I have partial help now and then I'll pay it back longer. Every deal's different, and we're working through all that. But listen, this is not a place where like this. It's not an abatement. It's a deferral. It's trying to help the process, right? So that's what we're all struggling to figure out. What is that happy medium for whoever the tenant is based on the problems that they have, right? You want to keep. We all want everybody to stay in business. I
right?
mean, I think we all do as a society and as a being in the real estate industry, that our tenants are our lifeblood. Like that's why we're in business. So just like what you do, I'm
Yep,
sure you're doing everything you can to keep your vendors up to date. Like we
for
need
sure.
everyone to be there when this is over. That's like paramount to constantly keep in your head while all these negative thoughts are pouring in, making certain people act desperate because they're so uncertain of what is going to be the destiny of them. And I get
Yeah,
it. That's like a natural thing that evolution created, and we're still living through that now, right? It's everyone does
yeah.
it differently, has different triggers, but it's what we're all going through.
Yeah, no, no, for sure, for sure. And then just to pivot a little bit, so you're also a prop tech investor.
Yeah.
Is there certain things that you're looking at now that maybe you had maybe further down the pipeline, or were you were conceiving for your buildings that maybe now are more prominent or more front of mind?
So I am a prop tech investor, but I'm looking at this more as innovation, right?
Hmm.
Because technology touches everything now, right? There's like it's not a separate word; it's an integrated concept within every business, every industry, everything we do. So some of the things that just have been coming through, into my head, is anyone going to ever want to touch the front door again? Are they going to want to have like where you're going to Target or any other retail where the door opens this way, or hospitals, right? Like who's going to want to touch a door?
Hmm.
Are you ever going to want to touch an elevator keypad? Like right now, the new elevators let you only have to hit one button. Are you even going to want to have to hit one button? So are we going to try to now relook at voice technology integration? So when you go up, you can say elevator one or floor one, floor 15, and not ever touch anything.
Mm, mm,
Our bathrooms are they all outfitted with touchless water, to wash your hands, paper towels? Maybe they'll be unnecessary because everything will be air dried, right? What are you going to do now to alleviate people's fears? I mean, Fauci just said he thinks, just on the news, that he thinks nobody should ever shake hands again for the rest of our lives, right? I mean, he
wow,
really said that. So
wow.
that's how people's mindsets are going to be. We have a lot of touch points, forgetting technology, that we're going to have to innovate to get people to feel comfortable. Are we thinking about how do you order food in a building now when there was cafeterias? Are we going to make it sort of like Sweetgreens, where the app really takes over and it's almost like a ghost kitchen? It's not a congregate place to hang out anymore. And is it just going to be you go downstairs, you pick up your lunch, and you bring it back up to your office, right? I mean, people are doing that anyway, but how do you scale that so that it
Mm,
works? Are we going to
mm,
have to offer delivery now to spaces, right, where you order and just like we're doing Uber Eats and everything outside our buildings? Are we going to have to create that same philosophy inside our buildings? There's also efficiency. Like we're seeing what's efficient now and what's not working remotely, right? And actually, I'm pleasantly surprised on how well we're doing, and other companies that I know that I've spoken to are doing. But are there little chinks in the armor that we're seeing that now we may have to, I'm saying renovate because I'm in real estate, but
I know what
redo
you mean.
or
Yeah.
fix?
Yeah.
100%. You know, are we seeing like the collaboration tools that we were partially using because it was just easier to do email and text and however else we just got our messages to each other? Are we seeing some of this actually people, to take a step back? Adoption is the most difficult thing to get anyone to do, whether it helps them or not. People do not want to change. We have this forced change having to go on where, you know, look what happened with Zoom. I know there's all these issues circling with security, but people that like couldn't spell Zoom now know how to operate a Zoom meeting, right?
It's so
So,
true.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, you know, I'm having Zoom hangouts with my parents in Florida. I mean, they're downloading it, they're learning how, they're forced to. So unfortunately with technology, like change is difficult and it's hard to force. So this is going to actually be a good test to see what products were pushed in the supply chain of our efficiency and what we do. And did they take or did they not? And then what else will we try faster and get more buy-in? I always feel if you don't have champions within the company, and you should know this more than anyone,
Mm-hmm.
that actually want that technology to work for their division, their team, their group, it doesn't happen. It
Right.
will be slow, steady, very low percentage adoption, and it never really gets to its full potential. If you just look at technology on its face, most technology is only used to 20% of its capacity.
Right.
Even the best technology like Salesforce and others that, you know, are so well, so adopted throughout organizations, they're not going to the extent you can really go. It takes time, fortitude, and it takes real change agents to make that happen. So
Yeah.
I'm going to see over the next several months and be talking to a lot of people that have been trying lots of different things, and we'll see how it goes. But I think, you know, technology, communication, pivoting, rethinking, like being certain, being uncertain is going to help us get out of this, right? Like trying things you never thought you could because it's your only way you're going to make your company be able to move forward now,
Mm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
never had to do that. Like, you know, so I think this is going to be challenging, but also could be very exciting on how new things emerge because people are being pushed to that limit.
Yeah, I love that, John. I love that. I was actually just going to wrap it up there, but again, look, there's so many things to ponder. I'll certainly watch this back over and take your words there because they were so important, so powerful, and just resonated with me, and I'm sure they will with the audience. But again, look, thank you for your time. Thank you. This is the second week you're doing this for us, and thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Well, we all have to get through this together. I appreciate speaking with you and, you know, everyone. We're going to get to the other side. We just all have to believe that because you can't be creative while you're fearful. So
Mm.
as much as we're all fearful, we have to take at least a few hours a day to say, it's going to work out. I believe it is. And let your creativity come into, you know, into action so that these ideas that are going to be necessary for us will emanate and we could share them and try them. We have nothing to lose except to try new things to help us all get through this. So I think
Mhm.
it's so important. And I know as, you know, I do bet on our society and America and the world to get through this in a positive way.
No, for sure, man, for sure. All right, John. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.